What's something that sounds like a conspiracy theory but is actually true? In 2002, a cable technician named Mark Klein working for AT&T in San Francisco was sitting at his desk when he received an email from his bosses that a representative from the National Security Agency, NSA, would be coming to visit for some unspecified reason. He was to give this NSA technician access to a cable substation for him to perform some work. The tech did his thing and Mark moved on without thinking anything of it. A year later in 2003, Mark was transferred to that cable substation and by chance was assigned to monitor the internet room. This was the room where all the fiber optic ocean cables that carry the country's internet traffic terminate. While he was reviewing engineering drawings, he realized that the schematics revealed a secret room. More importantly, the plans showed cabinets filled with fiber optic splitters coming off every cable and feeding into the secret room. And to make it even crazier, neither he nor anyone on his team had access to the secret room. Through his investigation, he discovered that the NSA representative he had escorted the previous year had worked to install this system, which was sending a copy of all the internet traffic that passed through the substation straight to the NSA. In other words, he had proof that the federal government had the capacity to tap into all internet traffic in the country. And I mean all of it. Every email, instant message, electronic sale, medical or criminal records, research databases. Everything. Complete unrestricted access. Like any sane person, he was extremely disturbed by this discovery. He went to his higher-ups but was essentially told to just keep it quiet. After retiring in 2004, he linked up with a group called Electronic Frontier Foundation and essentially blew the whistle. He did interviews and handed over all his evidence to reporters. I watched one of these interviews in 2006, which is how I know about this story. I remember thinking it was so obvious once he explained it. Why wouldn't the NSA tap into the internet traffic in the age of the War on Terror? I'd watched Enemy of the State. But nothing happened. No one I spoke to seemed to believe it, and Mark Klein's story eventually seemed to just fade away. 7 years later, in 2013, Edward Snowden leaked documents essentially confirming everything and then some. But to this day everyone looks at me like a crazy person when I talk about knowing about it as early as 2006. Operation Snow White. Basically, during the 70s the Church of Scientology was concerned with all the bad press surrounding them and all the other dirt on them that could be released. So they used a huge number of contacts that they had in various US government agencies to destroy all negative information about the Church of Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard. The crazy thing is, they succeeded with much of the plan before they were caught. There was a crap ton of negative info on Scientology in the 70s, possibly enough to destroy the church, and it'll never see the light of day because they used their huge influence to have it destroyed. The Greenbrier Bunker. People love conspiracies about huge underground complexes built for the rich and famous to survive nuclear fallouts. Think Denver Airport, and that's exactly what Greenbrier is. The bunker was built under the Greenbrier Resort for Congresspeople to escape to, and was kept a secret for 30 years, even though people suspected. Why is there a 7,000-foot airstrip for a town of 3,000 people? For the entire time it was functional, every congressperson was assigned a bunk. These days you can take tours, and I'm sure we'll hear about the next bunker once it's defunct. Many prisons in the US are private, for-profit companies. They get paid by the head, and also employ the prisoners for pennies per hour to do work like telemarketing. You've probably talked to a prisoner on the phone without realizing. The Pentagon has an insane number of bathrooms because as they were building it, the segregation of bathrooms ended. That the US government actually had a paranormal unit. That movie, The Men Who Stare at Goats? It was based on a true story. The US military was actively trying to see if they could find people with skills like stopping the heart of a goat, or dowsing, or psychic spying. The whole thing pretty much fell apart when it was deemed that the people participating were not very effective. If you have to stare at a goat for hours in order to get it to fall over and die, how are they supposed to make use of it for assassinations? But, bottom line, it did exist. Same with the Nazis having a paranormal unit during the 40s. Hitler believed in acquiring the Spear of Destiny because he believed it would help him win the war, along with other occult stuff. That's partly what the Wolfenstein games have made popular. In the 60s and 70s, thousands of Native American women were sterilized without their consent as part of a practice to sterilize poor and minority women to help their financial situation and their families' quality of life by preventing unwanted pregnancies in poor communities. Some were not informed at all and had it done to them completely without their knowledge. Others were threatened with having their health care taken away if they did not agree to have it done to them. Some studies estimate that as many as 25 to 50% of Native American women were sterilized in the 1970s, representing tens of thousands of victims. This is essentially a modern-day genocide in the United States. The CIA fed unreasonable amounts of drugs to people to document the effects and search for new weapons. I can't imagine taking heroic doses of LSD and then getting grilled by government scientists for days. The UK government secretly tested biological weapons on its own coastal towns to see how far they could make it inland. The CIA funded and organized the overturn of several South and Central American socialist governments. The US and the UK conspired to overthrow Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh and restore the autocratic regime of the Pahlavi monarchy. They did this because Mossadegh tried to nationalize Iran's oil industry. Your iPhone is designed to start getting worse as soon as the new models come out. I remember this being a big deal like 7 or 8 years ago. Someone can fact check me as I'm hazy on the details, but I believe it's related to the battery. Every year, the same week that the new iPhone comes out, the latest iOS becomes available for download. The new iOS is not optimized for your current device's battery, and as such the phone compromises performance in order to maintain a similar battery life. Coupled with the normal wear and tear on the battery, your phone will start sucking just so the battery can last a little longer. The chemicals in the water are turning the frogs gay. Atrazine, a chemical produced by the pesticide company Syngenta, has been proven to mess with the endocrine system of frogs and turn them into hermaphrodites and can even cause them to display homosexual behavior, preferring the company of other male frogs rather than females ones. It can also cause prostate cancer and birth defects and is in the drinking water of several states, so yeah, there's that too. The Black Sox scandal was a major sports controversy that rocked the baseball world in 1919. It involved members of the Chicago White Sox, one of the best teams in the league at the time, who were accused of throwing the World Series against the Cincinnati Reds. The scandal involved 8 players, including shoeless Joe Jackson, who allegedly accepted bribes from gamblers to intentionally lose games. At first, many people thought the scandal was just a conspiracy theory as the players denied any wrongdoing. The team was arguably in the top position, some of the accused were insanely popular, and some fans believed that the accusations were just a way to tarnish the team's reputation. However, an investigation uncovered evidence of a complex scheme involving gamblers, team owners, and players. The investigation revealed that the players had definitely accepted bribes to the tune of a couple million today. I'm not a huge sports fan at all, but I am a history nut, and this was one of the most significant scandals in sports history, and it changed a lot of things for the entire sport, including getting a commissioner of baseball. Even though they were technically declared criminally innocent, all 8 players involved were all banned for life and they will never be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame despite repeated attempts to do so over the decades. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel our posts.